Good morning, all. Myself, Dr. Pratibha, Project Scientist at CSIR NISPER. It is my pleasure to welcome you all in today's workshop on stroke in India, prevalence, risk, challenges, and management. Today's workshop will bring together esteemed experts who will help us to understand various aspects of stroke, from prevention and early detection to recovery and rehabilitation. I invite Director Ma'am to kindly felicitate our guest, Dr. Manmohan Mehendirata, with Potted Plant and Bouquet of NISPER publication. I request Director Ma'am to kindly felicitate Dr. Shipra Chaudhary with Potted Plant and NISPER publication. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Dr. Naresh Kumar to kindly felicitate Honorable Director Ma'am with Potted Plant. I request Dr. Suman Ray to kindly felicitate Dr. Naresh Kumar. Now I invite Dr. Naresh Kumar to deliver welcome address.
A very warm welcome and heartily welcome to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Manmohanji and Dr. Shipra Chaudhary for this very important meeting or discussion session or workshop, because as we know there are a lot of issues are going on regarding these strokes, and we have listening a lot of about many cases are happening and reflecting a serious concern of our country, our medical professional, policy researchers, policy maker, etc. So, stroke today represent one of the most critical and yet addressable public health challenges facing in India. And it is no longer a neurological disorder or neurological issues. It is a public health system, equity and economic issues demands critical clinical address and policy address or attention. I have really very distinguished people or distinguished speaker in this area, and I think the whole community, our NISPER, and this is a part of our research project headed by Dr. Suman Ray. It is a headquarter sponsor project under the R&D seed fund. So our not only our project leaders will be benefited, I think all of us will be benefited, and I think that we should be the messenger of this stroke prevention strategy of the Government of India while we are going back to our home, to spread the awareness among our neighborhood, our population where we are living, and I think it will be very useful for us. So thank you very much, and welcome once again our distinguished panelists and speakers, Madam Director also, and Dr. Suman and Dr. Meena ji to organize this very fruitful and very important session for this on stroke. So thank you very much and welcome once again.
So good morning everyone, and firstly warm welcome to our distinguished guests, Dr. Manmohan Mehendirata and Dr. Shipra Chaudhary, for taking your time and visiting us. And I think clinicians are some of the most busiest people, and as we were just discussing, I think in our country the clinicians are overburdened. I think and them sparing time for the discussion shows the value they attach to the discussions, and really thank you for being with us. And I think one of the things mostly we are talking about when we talk about CSIR research is how we need to connect with industry and also with clinicians. Like if you could look at many research labs such as CDRI Lucknow or IICB or IGIB, we always say the scientists should be talking to the clinicians when you are developing a research proposals, especially when it's dealing with diseases and so on, or diagnostics or treatment. So what I'm happy to see is that NISPER, which is actually based on science communication and policy, is also interacting with the clinicians. I think that's a very important aspect, because if you're making any recommendations or any evidence you're generating for any policy with regard to healthcare, it's very important to have the clinicians on board with us. I think every stakeholder, I think this is always true for NISPER, whoever is a stakeholder you are making or the experts, you need to have them on board. So I'm happy to see that when this division, healthcare division, is working on stroke, that they have invited the experts in the area. Because we are not experts of everything. So you really need to hear from the experts as to what are the challenges and how can it be managed. And I think the two speakers, like one is talking about the initial identification and risk, and the second speaker is on the post stroke care. I think both are equally important. Like Nareshji pointed out, many times in any disease, I think early identification is one of the major steps. If you can identify at the as earliest as possible, the treatment outcomes are always going to be better, be it cancer, be it hypertension or diabetes. And I think so the topic of and I think lot of research has gone in compared to what it was many years ago. There are a lot of tools and lot of biomarkers, and lot of even our own research labs are working on identification of biomarkers by proteomics, metabolomics, and taking it forward, in terms of identification of diseases. And actually, many times there are many variants which are present in Indian patients, which give prevalence for certain disorders. So that kind of studies is also going on within CSIR research labs. And in fact, you mentioned about Clotbuster. So one of our research labs, IMTech Chandigarh, actually they developed indigenous, streptokinase, which was for, they in fact made it affordable for Indian patients. So CSIR labs are contributing in different ways to affordable healthcare in the country. But what NISPER is looking at mainly is the policy and the communication aspects. And I think, like Nareshji pointed out, communication is also a very important aspect. Like many people are not even aware of what are the symptoms of stroke or how do you identify and when do you rush to the doctor. So I think like you were talking about the early golden hour or whatever, when it comes to even heart attack, if you are able to identify within that period and rush to the hospital, the prognosis is going to be better. And I think communication. So coming back to what the focus of this institute is also communication. And we do talk about communication not only in India, English, but also in regional languages. So that's another area I think we can take some cues from today's talk and see is there a way that we can communicate to the people about the awareness in a simple language or and maybe in regional languages or in some suitable form that people get more awareness. That's one area. And the second area of interest to NISPER is the policy work. So also, are there any regulations or anything which we need to do which can improve, for stroke? I think are there any policy interventions? So although we do not make the policy ourselves, our recommendations can be given to the suitable agencies. Could be ICMR, could be Niti Aayog or somebody. Or even if you publish the evidence, it can help in making future policies. So that's the kind of area which NISPER is focusing on. And I think today's discussions and the presentations by the two eminent speakers will really help us to work in that direction. And again, I think my compliments to both the organizers, Dr. Sumanri and Dr. Arvind Meena. And I think we have a diverse set of audience. Some are scientists, some of our admin and finance also are there. So you can treat us as common people, although we are scientists in different areas. So maybe the talk, if it's the way you would give to a lay person, perhaps it will be more effective to our own group. And again, thank you. And I look forward to the deliberations.
I'd like to know here from my colleagues here, I'm also a scientist, you are a scientist, stream may be different. How many of you know about stroke? So we know about brain attack, right? But we know about the heart attack, but we don't know about the brain attack. So stroke is like heart attack. And we have to keep in mind the seriousness which we pay attention to the heart attack, same attention is to be paid. Now heart attack comes, it causes pain, terrible pain, patient is rushed to the hospital by the family. On the other hand, the hand becomes numb while sleeping or that, think, oh, it's okay, numb because of pressure, will become all right. No. Now this may be left with physical deficit or speech deficit or eye deficit, which may recover or may not recover. So from that point of view, it's very important that we must recognize this in time. Madam also highlighted about education, advocacy, Dr. Naresh Kumar also mentioned very important points, that education and advocacy at ground level, grassroots level, through the ASHA workers, so that they have a performer, just feel it, that do you have these symptoms? Or in your family anybody has? Increases the awareness. So before even I go to these slides, I will like to, there is a mnemonic called FAST. We move fast. Fast is face. If your face becomes twisted like this. Second S is speech. Your speech may be slurred, or you are not understanding speech, you are not interpreting speech, or you are not expressing speech, that you become speechless. Or there is an arm weakness, and then T is for time. Now fast. This was the one which is very easy to be recognized even at grassroots level. Now two things have been added to that, as identification was the first word, BE. BE means suddenly I'm walking and somebody becomes like alcoholic. So do recognize that, whether it is in one leg or both legs, that's also one of the symptom of that. The other is eye. Eye means you lose sudden vision in one eye. You must go to the hospital immediately, to the emergency, or as was mentioned, Madam mentioned, messengers, very right word. You are the messengers of the society. If you know about it, then you can advise. So be fast. Be fast means be fast also, and formula is also be fast. So easy to remember. Now I'll go to my slides. I will also like to highlight, I knew something will come about young. India is a young country. More than 35% of the population is young. So a systematic approach to stroke in young, what I call as a predator to the brain, life interrupted and life regained, where Dr. Chaudhary can be very helpful, life interrupted and then life regained after the emergency period or first few days or weeks. So stroke in the young, rare causes and emerging insights, as Chief Scientist Sir also mentioned, smoking, dyslipidemia, hypertension, diabetes. I'll show some of the recent publications. So I bring greetings. I belong to Delhi, and this is what I call as Shaza Lize of Delhi. I have no conflict of interest while giving this talk. Rather, it's a privilege to give a talk here. I have around 72 slides, 25 cartoons, but duration of talk, I have been given 40 minutes, so I'll go slowly and take little more time, so that I will be reading few slides and rest and show for visual glimpse and recapitulation for comprehensive workup and management of stroke in general. So this is my brief CV. So I have now, Google Scholar says 783 publications, 150,550 citations, H index 67, I10. This is yesterday night I took it. H index, so I10 index of 125, and PubMed article around 210. So I have worked on various capacities at state, national and international level. I will be showing some books which I have published on this. Now, the very important to know what is happening in the world and India. As Sir mentioned, LAMIX, you can say different way, LAMIX, LMIC. 2/3 of population is in Asia and Africa, 2/3 of population. And India constitutes more than 20% of the population. So current population, if we see 8 billion, so India is close to around 20% of that. Global, regional and national burden of stroke and its risk factors 1990 to 2021, a systematic analysis for the global burden of disease. This is done from International Health Metrics Evaluation in Washington. Christopher Murray is the chief of that, and I am fortunate to be one of the collaborators for this. But message I want to give, interpretation. Many times we write in our this messages, take-home messages, conclusion, but these people tend to say the recommendations or interpretations rather than conclusion writing. Stroke burden has increased from 1990 to 2021, and the contribution of several risk factors has also increased. Effective, accessible, as you mentioned, sir. Effective, accessible and affordable measure to improve stroke. You many times talked about acuity in care. Improve stroke surveillance, prevention with the emphasis on blood pressure, very important, lifestyle, environmental factors, acute care and rehabilitation, which my subsequent speaker is going to talk, need to be urgently implemented across all countries to reduce stroke burden. This also has the India data. comparison between first ever ischemic stroke in young adults in 1988 and 97, 2008 and 2017. How are we heading? Now, what are the messages here? We observed incidence of acute cerebral infarction in young adults. I'll come what is cerebral infarction, what is brain hemorrhage for everyone later. In young adults, increase from this one decade to that decade. In one of the counties, atherosclerosis was less common in 2008 and 2017. What does it mean? The other factors are increasing, especially toxic substances. I had encountered with some of the patients, and when they come young, we do a tox screen in the urine to see that they may be they are smoker, they are alcoholic, they are hypertensive, they have parties, and there may be something which like cocaine, marijuana, or amphetamine. So we regularly do tox screen in young patient, and I have published long back, 2004, when I was in GB Pant, 127 subjects out of 940 of stroke, 127 were young. And we found that 3 or 4 had toxic substance at that time. So now it's on the rise. Now, again, another in heart-related brain, heart and brain axis, what we call, if we see this is a labeled as vegetation, you will see here. See, this is floating in the heart. It can break any time and go to the brain and cause a stroke. So this one should be aware. When we see the patient, we also scan the patient for heart rate, rhythm, and structure, all the things. Now, this is another largest study in the world on stroke in young in 19,000 subjects. The first author is from Netherlands, and I am also one of the collaborators. And what does it say? That it is now as common, So it says that earlier was that it is more common in Asians. It says now Hispanics and Asians have almost same, or Hispanic have more. Now another thing, all of you must have come in the morning. Pollution, lot of pollution, and carrying in the pocket. It's becoming so troublesome that I brought out a special issue on neurology of air pollution, and stroke was one. Some of the catchy were save the mind, air pollution and brain health, environmental toxins of the brain, life on earth is in danger, and there were different authors from India and Singapore and other countries from Japan. So air pollution, intracranial hemorrhage, air pollution has been linked to brain hemorrhage. Intracranial means inside the brain, inside the skull actually, and it can cause brain hemorrhage. So this one has to be kept. This from Singapore. Then air pollution and ischemic stroke. Sir mentioned about ischemic stroke. Ischemic is when blood flow to the brain decreases. That's called ischemic stroke. There are 2 types of main stroke. I'll show in one of the slides. So this also says that this is more common in polluted areas than the non-polluted areas. Now, what will be plan of my talk? This was laying the foundation and giving you a glimpse and how to identify some of the risk factors, but definition and burden, common causes of stroke, representative case presentation, clinical approach in a young patient, investigation and management. Have you heard of, how many of you have heard of heart attack? I think everyone. So please do have knowledge about stroke also. That's the brain attack. That's the purpose of today's talk. Now in this, how many of you know how many types of heart attacks are there? We always say myocardial infarction or heart attack, that's all. But sometimes pain comes and goes. It comes for a few minutes and goes. So that's called angina. Angina pectoris, because this is called pectoral area. It happens in this area, so called angina pectoris. It comes for a few minutes and then goes. Doesn't leave behind damage to the muscle of the heart. Similarly, in brain, we have one called TIA, transient ischemic attack. As I said, ischemic stroke, transient ischemic attack, and the other is ischemic stroke, in which your speech can go, hand can become weak, or leg can become weak, or you may be imbalanced. So this is the slide which I think I made around 25 years back. when I was in GP, suspected case of stroke arrives in the emergency room. It's the doctor's duty to recognize early. Now patients are aware, they have brought the patient to the emergency room. At that time, a clinical examination and confirmation. Then comes CT scan at the earliest, because that time CT was available. Now MRI is also available. MRI, I think you people are more worse than me, because you may be doing a lot of MRI spectroscopy here or other things. So intracellular hemorrhage is called brain hemorrhage. Brain hemorrhage occurs in around 15% of subjects of all stroke 15%. Now this may be small, conservative, large, conservative, or sometimes surgical treatment may be required. Sometimes no infarct, but I said TIA, as I said, and angina. So no infarct. But these are the new clot busters. I'll show later. Infarct small, large infarct and raised pressure in the brain. Then something is required to decongest the brain. And if it is coming from heart, what I showed one vegetation, in those cases we give anticoagulant, a different group of drugs we give. I will use simple language. I am trying to customize to the audience need. Now, the other mimics which can be there, this I gave a talk in Milan on 21st May, migraine. Does anyone have migraine here?
Continuous or
I can't believe. Migraine is usually episodic, sir, and it occurs in around 25% of women and 10% of men. I am sure some may have migraine, but keep on ignoring it. It's because of smoke in the kitchen, it's because of sleeplessness, it's because going in the sun. So other is fits, epileptic fits and post-ictal states. Weakness is there, may be considered stroke, but may not be. Mass lesion, sorry for the spelling mistake, is like some tumor in the brain. I'll show you one example. People who are diabetic, and if they develop this type of this, you must check the blood sugar at home immediately. Whether heart, sweating, or weakness one side, one must check blood sugar. Low blood sugar is more dangerous than slightly high sugar. I'm not saying high sugar, slightly high sugar. Then the defined norms. Then our functional disorder, some people may have, is called like, but called earlier called as hysterical. We don't use that word now. And demyelination is like somebody may have heard the word called multiple sclerosis. So these are demyelination in the brain which can mimic like stroke. Now management of stroke basic strategies. We have done the identification. We have said that two types of stroke, and now we say management of stroke basic strategy. Accurate diagnosis of stroke is the responsibility of the treating physician like me. If I am not identifying early, it's lack on my part, either knowledge or updation of knowledge. So it's the responsibility of the treating physician. Definition of patient may not know it is stroke. Definition of stroke type I have shown. Acute general medical care is very important. Then reperfusion, neuroprotection, prevention of for further stroke and rehabilitation. I'll come that slide also I'll show. Now look at that. This gentleman came from Sonia. I was in GB Pant, I was 32 years young. Active life. Another 50 years ahead. See, he gets a stroke. Look at time is given. This is one of the scale we use, National Institute of Health stroke scale. Is 10. And look at that. Now 345, it is 14. It is worsening. And then there is a big clot. These are the images wanted to show. This is a clot. This is an MRI brain. And here we had to subject him to surgery. These are called, I'm sure you are aware of malignancy. So this was malignant infarct on the right side. For colleagues who are may not know, this is the right side in the MRI, this is the left side. If the patient has got right side, he will have left side weakness. In brain it is reversed. But just to see MRI, like this is the right side, this is the left side, this is the right side. It's happening on right side, so weakness will be on left side. If there were physicians or neurologists, I would have talked on this in a different way, just for that. Then 15203, that is an NHS 11, 10, 11, 14 and subjected to surgery. It's called severe type of stroke. Now look at this, this is the surgery. We, in our institute also we do regularly. The skull has been removed, it is kept in the bone bank and after 3 months it's put back, once it has healed. like he has left, now weakness is improving. He is raising the left side. I showed you right side and this is left side. Now, plain CT had showed left, right, I will show that this has two types of stroke. That was, we all know pure blood and impure blood, artery and vein. So first was artery involved, and then he had vein involved also. And there was some common cause called antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. He had a hemorrhagic infarct here. So these are called superior sagittal sinus. Like you can see my veins here. Like here there are veins in the brain. So superior means upper. Here he had a clot, and he had antiphospholipid antibody, which required blood thinner. Routine you have heard of aspirin, but this required anticoagulants, different type of thinner. Similarly, now this patient had seizure and came with weakness. Now you can see it's on left side, right? He had right side weakness and fits. It was thought that patient may have stroke, but no, it's not stroke. These have shown that the patient has got a lesion here, which was tumor. So this is what we recognize by neuroimaging, and there's a lot of role of now artificial intelligence in stroke management. I'm sure Madam may talk about that, and also about the latest software. You must Rapid AI and Amira software from Thermo Fisher is just making waves in the market. Now this is what again the another thing, and now look at this. MR spectroscopy, you all must be aware. From the peaks of this, we can find out is it tumor, is it tuberculosis or something else. So this is what this come handy in our practice. Now very important slide I picked up some time back, 2017, April 27, 2017, sorry, April 26. Prosecutor dies of stroke in court complex. You must have seen many people dying in the health club or collapsing because of heart attack. But he died because of this. Mr. Meena, who was working in the office of Chief Prosecutor, North District, suddenly collapsed in the gallery as he came out of courtroom after attending a case. He had earlier practiced in Rajasthan court for some time. Now, what was the reason? Reason was he never bothered about hypertension. He was hypertensive for a long time and he never bothered. So one day, because of that, he had massive brain hemorrhage and died. So these are preventable. As was mentioned, primary prevention. There are two types of prevention, primary and secondary. So Chief Scientist Sir spoke about that, primary prevention, very important. Similarly, this industrial pollution and this, just to re-emphasize another point, that take care, this is also one of the risk factor for stroke. Now, air pollution, green space may influence body mass index during initial years of the study and cause stroke. So one has to mask India. Look at that. How these are the catchy words. These journalists are super. Look at this hash mask India. During COVID time, and now it's like hashtag mask India. So this I have already shown in young patient. Now, sir has already given figures. I think it may be a repetition. That stroke caused an estimated 6.1 million, 5 million deaths, and at least 2/3 of these occur in developing countries. That's what I was saying. Like sub-Saharan Africa, Asia. The cause of stroke and the pattern of stroke subtype, what is the talk of today, between the developing and developed countries, as you said, India and developed countries. I in Neuroepidemiology wrote an editorial in 2012 and said that the risk factors are here different, education is different, advocacy is different. Infectious diseases are common in our country. In tropical regions of the world, some CNS infection can provoke seizures. I'll show one or two slides. Now, this is in India also very true, marked and highlighted. 1 in 6 people will have a stroke in their lifetime. 16%, 16.6 you can say, 16.66 to be precise if I am in CSIR, so I have to say that way. So globally more than 80 million people have survived a stroke, and as mentioned that in India 1.8 million, 18 lakh stroke har saal hota hai. So about 70% of incident strokes are ischemic, as I mentioned earlier, and rest are intracellular hemorrhage or subarachnoid hemorrhage. Brain hemorrhage are of 4 or 5 types, so I will not confuse you, but they constitute around 20% of all stroke. Now this is Lancet Neurology, which I showed that this systematic analysis. Now what we call disability adjusted life years is very important to find out how person's life will be for future. And these are like risk of stroke age 25 or older is 24.9%. The equal risk of stroke among women and men. Sometimes it is that the hormones may be protective, but after that it's almost same. Ischemic stroke and 8.2% hemorrhagic stroke, and prevalence rate increasing because of growing and aging population. What is the can somebody young tell me what is the life expectancy in India? So first is good news that women live more than the men. First is that. And now it is around 70 years. Average life expectancy. Earlier was 68 for men and 69 for women. So as with the aging population, not stroke, Parkinson disease, Alzheimer disease, we are doing now blood biomarker for Alzheimer. We are recognizing more and more cases. I'll just run through this. These are some of the which you can just capture the points. Behavioral factors. So you mentioned smoking, poor diet, physical inactivity also accounted for 66%. And environmental risk, air pollution, lead exposure accounted for about, lead exposure accounted for about 28%. Now I was in CRO meeting in WHO representing International Bureau for Epilepsy. Meeting is going on. Around 1.5 hours has passed. Let us all get up and do stretching. They started doing stretching. This is very regular phenomenon in WHO meetings. You will see even on the TV. So these things I think we also need to, when my patient says I have backache, I am in trouble, I have low backache, neck pain, what should I do? I tell them long sitting hours is not a problem. Every hour get up from your chair, like Meena Saab should go to Dr. Suman's room and ask for a cup of tea. So they change of posture. And similarly, like go to washroom, go and stretch your legs in the corridor. That's very important. Now, diagnostic. Now, I have told our burden, definitions, and now I come neuroimaging. CT scan head. I am sure MRI brain, everybody is aware, and in family somebody may have something. It is done for different parts of the body. Perfusion images are special, which I will not confuse. Neurosonology is Doppler. Doppler, even you may be practicing here. The ultrasound is also based on Doppler. It was after the name Christian Doppler. There is a Doppler University in Austria after his name. Carotid Doppler is, there are 4 vessels here. That I must tell you. 2 here, 2 on the back. So 4 neck vessels which supply the brain. So this is done to see the blood flow and transcranial. We put a probe here and do. We recently had the annual conference on neurosonology. I had been the past president, and we had in that extensive transcranial Doppler and these discussion in Delhi. Now neurosonology is called a point of care ultrasound. Very simple, bedside, reproducible, economical. So this is called point of care. Like you have point of care test. You must be aware about Abbott machine, point of care biochemical test. See, this is point of care ultrasound. This is called, referred to as ultrasound stethoscope of the brain. It's called stethoscope of the brain. Like you, doctor, now cardiologists have not using because they go on echo directly. So this is can be labeled as ultrasound. So these are one transcranial Doppler, USG of nerves, carotid, etc. Now this was the other I showed. Now this is very important. The focus now is on shared decision. Very important. We don't write medicines. We sit with the family. We discuss with them what you have or your family members have and what you can be done for future, preventive. Shared decision making between the doctor and the patient, and these new guidelines provided tools and recommendations for when to take appropriate steps to lower an individual risk of heart disease and stroke. So new recommendations are like this. Look at that. Exercise. Perform more than 150 minutes per week. How many of us are performing? And how many of us will be performing? All should raise hand. Moderate or 75 minutes vigorous physical exercise. Diabetes. Diabetes is preventable and treatable easily now. If somebody has diabetes, there is good mode available. Diet. In my room, there is one. I put lot of messages. Good food choice is your good investment for future. It's your bank account. And good food choices are your investment for future. Cigarettes. Those who smoke can come. I will not ask here. Those who smoke, come. I tell them. Now you are purchasing the disease from the market. Then you will spend for the disease. So double expenditure. And those things. And then cholesterol. I think all those who are, you must have once annual health checkup. And cholesterol you must check. Because this is one of the preventable condition. And blood pressure. When I was in Janakpuri being the director, I had the freedom to do, I made vital stations. Any patient comes in the OPD will have blood pressure, weight or height, body mass index, blood sugar, everything was checked before they reach the doctor in each OPD. That we collected 44,000 data and that was very helpful. Now treatment, now I come to, quickly I run through, I will not go into details of treatment but tell you what is available. Prevention, primary I have shown. Hypertension, smoking, dyslipidemia, those are the primary preventive you should take care. Secondary is after it has occurred. Pharmacotherapy, thrombolytic agents, clot buster. Discussing with madam, then I mentioned anticoagulant. These are different type of blood thinners. Then these are other agents. Intervention now in a big way. You must have heard of angioplasty of the heart. Angiography, angioplasty, same way is of the brain. And mechanical thrombectomy, when you have a clot, you retrieve with the stent. There are very nice stents available. Surgical, as in that Ajit case I showed, that skull was removed and then kept back. Rehabilitation expert. So she will be covering that. I will not touch upon that. What was the concept of core? Core is where the cells are dead and penumbra which are alive. So our aim is to save those which are alive. So these are current treatment of patients of post-acute stroke. Preclinical development. These all madam will be probably discussing. Tele-rehabilitation, brain-computer interface. In human clinical studies, favorable clinical, ready for later phase clinical and ready for broad clinical application. Neuroimaging, I have shown now, they are very advanced neuroimaging and AI helps a lot in this. We had a meeting on Saturday, Sunday, stroke and AI. The 2 days meeting was only on stroke and artificial intelligence. But I said one thing there, as chairing the session, that we should not forget natural intelligence. Natural intelligence has made artificial intelligence and had a combination of both for the welfare of the masses. Clot buster, which one? RTPA or TNK? So can I take 5 minutes more? 5 times? Why prefer one over the other? What is the evidence? So now we have got cheaper mode of clot buster. These are the one. Earlier was this, 1995 approved by FDA. In one of the trial NIDS, you see, look at this. It takes 1 hour to infuse, 10% and 90%. Well, this goes immediate. So 1 hour is saved. So we have to, golden period was 3 hours. Now it's 4.5 hours. So you have to treat, see, window up to 3 hours, 4.5 hours. So I was telling Director ma'am that when we talk of 4.5 hours, it is 270 minutes. Think of ISRO, launching satellite, reverse counting. 270, you have lost 1 minute, 269, now 268, like that. Then you will reach the hospital fast and take the treatment. And so these are guidelines. I think this is more for the doctors. And these are other guidelines like stroke. Now other is, no problem, mechanical thrombectomy. That we put a guide wire from here or from here, take it to the clot, go beyond the clot and take it out. It's very rewarding, much better than the clot buster as well. Anticoagulant after stroke, persistent uncertainty. These are for blood thinner, aspirin or a clopidogrel hota hai. You must have heard. This one is a anticoagulant. So with this, bleeding risk is high, it has to be given very carefully and close monitoring is required. So again, these are recommendations. Now I mentioned about infections. This is because of TB in the brain. You can see here, and there is a water in this called pleural effusion in the lung. So this is doctor duty to find out quickly what is the reason. Seeing this place, I straight away look for that. It may not be tubercular. This is called straw color fluid. This is called miliary tuberculosis, multiple spots of tuberculosis in the lung. So this patient requires treatment for that. No clot busting here, no clot busting. TB. This is another we publish is a only localized area called tuberculoma in the brain and causing stroke and seizures. Now, this condition, young boy was in GV1. He had TOF, tetralogy of Fallot, and paradoxical embolism. Impure blood going to the pure blood. So this was causing, and this caused abscess. Abscess you all must be aware, pus यहाँ पड़ गया जिससे उसको stroke हुआ. So this need to be recognized that we have to see that there may not be. New AIDS, AIDS we know, HIV we know. Another is Chagas disease, sleeping sickness is caused by parasite resemble early spread of HIV. This is another which is making news of causing stroke. Anybody may have seen in families, some families, have you heard of shingles? Anyone who has heard of shingles? Herpes zoster? Like you have heard of chicken pox, right? Chicken pox is in childhood and herpes zoster is in later age. Chicken pox survives in the ganglia on the back and then come out later. So this patient had, this is in a segment, herpes zoster went into the spinal cord and went to the brain and caused stroke. So if doctor is going stroke, that's all, and do imaging, he is not a good doctor. He has to see the body parts and other areas also, not only pulse here, pulse in the legs also. So these are common things which we do. Then other, you must have heard of worm in the food. Worm in the food. What is this called? Cysticercosis. Tinea solium. Look at this. How many cysticercosis? Going through unhygienic food. You just take out a carrot from the cabbage, from the farm. Don't wash and eat like that. There may be worms on that. This is from the pig. So it's called Tinea solium and may reach the brain and cause stroke. Similarly, in COVID time, this was before COVID. This was in GV1 maybe around 20 years back. Mucormycosis, black fungus. You must have heard during COVID, black fungus. The heart palate upper जो तालू बोलते हैं वो rupture हो गया and patient had fungal infection and eye swelling and stroke. So these are the causes which are easily. Now another is in a 7 years young boy, Kalimuddin, and there's a blockage of the arteries here and there's a stroke here, right side which I am showing. And look at this, these are like crowded, the brain compensates, and this is called, anybody has seen somebody smoking sometime in life? So how do they? That is puff of smoke. So this is like puff of smoke, which is very classical of this, in which both the blood vessel here in the brain are blocked and need to be opened. So this is the line of management we do, normally stroke, and how do we go about it? This was a young man who had brain hemorrhage, high BP, 3 medicines for blood pressure control, no, not getting this. Echo done, I asked my colleagues, see, it is something you should see here. No, it is normal. I said, see again. And you will see in this, the blood which is going through the legs here is blocked. So it is causing high blood pressure and brain hemorrhage. So this again, one of the, here stenting can be easily done and patient can be cured. The other is large vessel. It says to the doctor that don't look only in gross areas. Aorta says, please don't forget me at least in the diagnosis assessment in a case of cryptogenic stroke, where the cause is elusive. So there, don't forget me. It is here. Aorta is here. So don't forget me. These are some of the other imaging measures. Another thing, I say I hunt for holes and the tunnels in the heart. And this lady, young lady, had stroke and she had a blood going from here, from the right to the left. And here I'll show you that. See, normally this should not be there. The blood is going from the right side to the left and causing infarct, and this is the new technique which has come. And plots are available in a number of patients of mine have got it done because it's the recognition, early diagnosis which matters. So this is called closing the PFO. So I think I'll another 41 right hemiplegia with aphasia, and no harm, and no, I have her consent to disclose. Mrs. MC, I will say, and she had look at this clot has been taken out here. She came with no speech, right weakness, full right weakness, timely intervention, and this is what she became perfectly normal. Mobile stroke unit, pre-hospital, you mentioned, sir. These are the one which are becoming, which are more in South India than North India, but we need to develop more stroke mobile units. In the West, there are places where there are CT scan in the mobile unit, and there is a clot buster in the mobile unit. Through the teleneurology, they say, patient is this is the image, do what to do. So this I have written some articles, Stroke in Young Systematic Approach. 2 books I have brought out earlier, and third is in the pipeline. And this was written by president of World Stroke Organization, president-elect, he is the current president, president in America, president Asia Pacific Stroke Organization, president Indian Stroke Association. So they wrote the forward, which was very impactful. So this statement, first statement I will read, rest I will not read. 90% of all stroke worldwide could be prevented with stricter primary prevention. I don't smoke, I don't take alcohol, I'm pure vegetarian. I don't walk too much. That I think I need to pay more attention. But walk in the hospital on the stairs while taking the rounds. Do 6,000 steps, but not 10,000, which Dr. Chaudhary will advise me to do 10,000. If he insists, I will start doing 10,000 steps. So, eagle eye vigilance on the part of the treating physician is very important. And now newer and newer methods are becoming available for the treatment. I'll show last slide. Very important slide. Can somebody recognize me here? Here. So this is education and advocacy, sir. GP Pant, we call people, this was in GP Pant we did, we call people with, he was stroke in young and he's his brother. We call people with stroke, these are the husband of a lady. So they call them, and this is like physiotherapist, occupational therapist, social worker, SNAGE and speech therapist. So is to call them, make families meet, understand each other, share the suffering and share the joy. So this one we do regularly in our institutes for the patient benefit. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You may not have agreed with me, but do agree with Benjamin Franklin, what he said. Thank you so much for the kind attention. So nice of you for listening.
So before starting with the rehabilitation aspect, अभी थोड़ी देर पहले सर ने he has talked to you regarding physical activity. So may I request you everyone to just stand up in their place.
I'm sorry, it is all because of me.
Okay. So you can sit down. Actually, usually हम ये activity हमारी जो भी presentations होती हैं उसमें करते हैं because एक position में and some of us are actually sitting on the sideline position, तो important होता है physical activity maintain करने के लिए. So now stroke sir has also explained to you in detail and काफ़ी कुछ थोड़ा बहुत पता भी होगा, but क्या stroke rehabilitation के बारे में anyone is aware about it? आपकी फैमिली में या नियर बाय किसी को stroke हुआ है? आपका कोई एक्सपीरियंस रहा है? Anyone?
You must be aware of physiotherapy, right? That's one part of the activity.
You know something about it? क्या हुआ था? Means how the patient has been treated?
मदर को स्ट्रोक आया था तो ले जाकर वहाँ एडमिट करवाया था, ली में था तो रिकवर था.
Fully recovered? तो मेडिकल मैनेजमेंट के अलावा भी कुछ किया गया था उनके लिए? फिजियोथेरेपी करवाई थी. Okay, physiotherapy is a very common word, but it is just not physiotherapy which is important. There is a team of doctor, physiotherapist, occupation therapist, speech and language pathologist, sometimes the clinical psychologist and social workers and many more who are involved in a rehabilitation of a person with stroke. Now my topic, sorry? My talk would include basics about the stroke rehabilitation, when, what are the basic issue, when, why, and how much, what are the major component of stroke rehabilitation, which includes sensory motor impairment and activities, prevention and medical management of comorbidities, and return to work. So, if we go by definition, what is stroke? Stroke is a non traumatic brain injury caused by occlusion or rupture of cerebral blood vessels that result in sudden neurological deficit, which is characterized by loss of motor control, altered sensation, cognitive or language impairment, and sometimes coma. And what is stroke rehabilitation? It is a combined and coordinated use of medical, social, educational, and vocational measure for training and retraining the individual to the highest possible level of functional ability. That is, restoration of functions to the maximum degree possible in a person suffering from stroke. So, stroke can present in many ways depending how we all know that a brain is supplied by many vessels, and depending on the area which is involved, there are variety of deficits. Okay, many of you have been familiar with the term like impairment, handicap, disability, but these terminologies are no longer used. A patient is rehabilitated in terms of the international classification of functioning. So, whenever a person suffers a stroke, the body structure which is involved is brain, and there are variety of body functions that can be impaired, that is the muscle power, and it causes activities restrictions. There are laid down the various activities which are restricted and which in terms affect the community participation. So here our goal is to include the person into the community participation by improving his activity by providing rehabilitation. So what are the important factors? First of all, you have to assess. You have to assess what is the status of the patient, what is the deficit, and what are the functions that is preserved. And depending on the patient, you have to set certain goals. Goals can be long term and short term. अभी मुझे क्या करना है, patient का potential कितना है और मैं कितना कर सकती हूँ. Then you can plan a strategy for the patient and intervene. And mind it, it has to be individualized approach. One approach does not fill all. So when you are doing the assessment, you have to assess the patient in total. You have to do the CNS, higher mental function, cranial nerve, and physical assessment. You have to assess what all the deficit is, activity of daily living. One of the very important factors is self-care. Then you have to assess the higher function, speech, hand functions, mobility and gait. Stroke के patient में hand functions बहुत ज़्यादा impaired होते हैं initially, and mobility में भी बहुत ज़्यादा difficulty आती है. I think all are comfortable with me speaking in Hindi in between. Yes. Okay. So when to start? It has to be started as soon as the patient is ready and can tolerate it. और recent literature में भी कहा गया है कि early intensive like first 24 hours में अगर किसी को लगता है कि we should do the rehabilitation very intensively, it will improve. No, it does not. The first 24 hours is for the patient to be stabilized. So what are the intensity, doses, and timing of therapy? There are various literature that says that you have to start early, may not be in first 24 hours, but in the subacute period, and augmented therapy of 20 hours will cause great improvement, and it should continue during the chronic phase. So when should it start? In the early phase, it has to be, we should start with the mobilization, then light exercises, and as soon as the patient goes into the subacute phase, the late subacute phase, we can start with the moderate intensity exercises, and the later stage, you have to start the high intensity exercises. It has to be in association with the cardiac fitness, cardiac level improvement, and the neurobiological recovery. So the factors that predict motor recovery is the stroke severity. So what are the predictors of motor recovery? It depends on the severity of upper limb weakness, whether the arm is completely paralyzed. The timing of return of the hand movement is important, And if the patient shows some motor recovery of the hand by 4 weeks, there is up to 70% chances of making full or good recovery. Poor prognosis is when there is no improvement in grasp, there is several proximity spasticity, and the flaccidity period is prolonged. जब भी पेशेंट स्ट्रोक के साथ आता है उसकी आर्म्स पैरालिसिस होती है तो फ्लैसिडिटी होती है, मीन्स लिम्प, मतलब आप उठा रहे हो तो गिर जाती है. जब रिकवरी स्टेज आती है तो धीरे धीरे टाइटनेस रिटर्न होने लगती है. एंड देर आर बहुत सारी क्लासिफिकेशन होती है जिसके हिसाब से पता चलता है कि हाउ द रिकवरी इज प्रोसेसिंग. नाउ सम वर्ड्स अबाउट स्ट्रोक रिकवरी. एक होती है न्यूरोलॉजिकल रिकवरी, दैट इज रिकवरी ऑफ द इम्पेयरमेंट, and which states that the return of motor power, but it is not synonym with the functional recovery. What is functional recovery? Functional recovery means recovery of the task through learned compensatory movement. It also depends कि patient का motivation कितना है, उसका ability to learn क्या है, family support क्या है, and what is the quality of therapy that is to be given. So what are the components pertaining to the stroke rehabilitation is the sensory motor impairment and activity. These are the first thing that we target. We have to prevent any medical complication, and we have to make the person go back to the community, return back to the work. First of all, I'll take sensory motor impairment and activities. Again, ICF model, we have to look into the damage area, the body structure involved, the function which is affected, what are the activities affected, and and how should you intervene to include him into the community. So the impairment could be dysphagia, cognitive impairment, hemispatial neglect, communication disorder, spasticity, etc. So dysphagia is the difficulty in swallowing. Patient is not able to eat, and it has to be addressed because it may lead to pneumonia, dehydration, and malnutrition. So patient may have to be kept in nasogastric tube for initial few weeks. Then simultaneously, the rehab team along with the neurologist, they will do the patient's bedside evaluation of swallowing. So and if required, they can do the instrumental evaluation also. We should start the patient feeding in the upright position. We can prescribe some swallowing exercise, and dietary modification is advised according to the involvement. So cognitive impairment, बोल नहीं पाता, communicate नहीं कर पाता, so you have to tailor to individual patient. You need to provide the enriched environment. The simple environment will not stimulate. You have to जैसे ब्रेन में आपको रिवायर करना है, इट्स ब्रेन दैट फंक्शन, दैट एरिया इज डेड, सो यू हैव टू रिवायर द सब्सिक्वेंट एरिया टू टेक ओवर दैट फंक्शन. सो पेशेंट को आपको बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग या स्टिमुलेटिंग एनवायरनमेंट देना होता है. जैसे उसकी क्या, आजकल तो इंटरनेट भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा अवेलेबल है, देन द बुक्स के थ्रू वो पढ़ के ही कैन री अप्रोच, एंड देन यू कैन गिव न्यूज़ पेपर्स, गेम्स, एंड पेशेंट की एक्टिविटी के अकॉर्डिंगली यू कैन गिव देम ऑडियो बुक्स सो दैट ही रीगेन दोज एक्टिविटीज़. एंड आप उनके साथ कम्युनिकेशन भी उसी तरीके से कर सकते हैं. यू हैव टू इन्वॉल्व लॉट ऑफ टाइम इन कम्युनिकेटिंग विद द पेशेंट. You can give music therapy. There are evidence of music therapy helping the patient to improve their cognition. Exercise and virtual reality is also one of the very important things that are coming today. So patient can also present with the difficulty in communicating, that is called aphasia. These are speech and language therapy that can be provided by the therapist. There is a drug which is helpful, and साथ ही साथ पार्टनर की ट्रेनिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, क्योंकि पेशेंट ढंग से बोल नहीं पाता, पार्टनर समझ नहीं पाता, फ्रस्ट्रेशन होती है विद बिटवीन द पार्टनर, एंड इट विल डेफिनेटली इम्पैक्ट द पेशेंट्स पर्सपेक्टिव एंड पेशेंट्स रिकवरी. देयर आर ऑल्सो वेरियस ऑगमेंटेड कम्युनिकेशन डिवाइसेज आर यूज, और आप कम्युनिकेशन चार्ट भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं. दैट डिपेंड्स कि पेशेंट का रिकवरी कितना हुआ है. हिंदी में भी है, आई एम जस्ट शोइंग द इंग्लिश. सो मे बी आप लोगों, देर इज़ वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कंडीशन कॉल्ड स्पैसिसिटी. वेन एवर द पेशेंट इज रिकवरिंग फ्रॉम द फ्लैसिडिटी, देर इज ड्यूरिंग रिकवरी देर इज gradual regain of tone. but during the regaining of tone sometimes it becomes too much excessive, so it interferes with the activity of daily living. हाथ भी कई बार चल नहीं पाता है पेशेंट्स को, हाथ सीधा करना या मोड़ना बहुत डिफिकल्टी हो जाती है, तो उसको मैनेज करने के लिए वी डू समटाइम्स गिव एंटीस्पैसिटी मेडिकेशंस, द फिजिकल मोडेलिटी which we also use. So I don't have the picture, but in my department we are giving botulism toxin injections to the patient for the upper limb spasticity to improve their activities. There are a lot of balance exercise and therapies are used, like yoga, tai chi is also used to improve the balance. फिजियो बॉल, एक बहुत बड़ी सी बॉल होती है, उसमें भी बैलेंस एक्सरसाइज कराते हैं. देन इट कैन बी कम्बाइन विद दिस बैलेंस मशीन. वी हैव दिस बैलेंस मशीन इन अ हॉस्पिटल एंड यू कैन यूज द ऑर्थोटिक्स डिवाइसेस टू improve the gait and balance of the patient. ये दिस इज़ अ बैलेंस मास्टर. इसमें पेशेंट का जो बेस जहाँ पे वो खड़ा होता है वो भी हिलता है. The screen also moves, and there is which is displayed on the screen that also moves, that helps in improving the balance. So now we'll talk about the intervention to improve the mobility. So first of all I'll talk about the task specific tearing. एक होता है routine passive movement कराना, तो that will help in regaining some movement, but task specific is important. Why? Because I've mentioned earlier कि our goal is to improve the function. So the engram is built in that way. So task specific training is important. This is the circuit training in which various stations are involved. The patient is sitting and doing, and then is standing, then they're walking, then doing the activity, like this is the sitting activities, and these are strength training. So there are various stations can be involved to improve so that patient can do exercise and does not get fatigue. Treadmill training is important for the walking. So it can be done without body weight support, routine treadmill, or it can do with body weight support training. In this, the therapist is sitting and assisting the patient to do the body weight support. This is the harness which is supporting the weight. Nowadays, many of the places they have got this robotic assistive training, in which there is an exoskeletal system and patient is moving on his own. There is no use of any therapist to support your limb, and there are evidences that robotic assisted training helps in better recovery, but it is a very expensive machine. It's some crores.
Are these available in India?
Yeah, it's available, and it's
Hospitals में नहीं
कोकिला बहन तो मुझे पता है मुंबई.
स्पेशलिटी तो मैंने ये देखा है.
हाँ.
मुझे कहीं पे भी किसी हॉस्पिटल्स में इतना इजीली नहीं.
No, it is a very
I approached many doctors, but I never have seen these.
I've been to Kokila Bank.
कोकिला.
They're very
Is
advanced.
it Bombay? Is
Rehabilitation.
there any?
It's available there, and it's soon coming to Delhi.
Yeah, there are hospitals.
Seen any machine in Delhi so far?
No, robotics. I think some of the AIMS are also trying to procure at AIMS Mangalagiri. Probably they'll be having. So it is soon going to be integrated in the rehab system. So what I wanted to say that earlier the focus of the hospital and the medical management is what? Towards curing the patient, handle the immediate problem. Rehab always come as a secondary priority. So primarily the focus is on improving the medical management, but now that because of the advancing ages and the increase in non-communicable disease, the importance of rehabilitation has come up really strong. So all the hospitals, they are procuring equipment also, they are setting up departments also. Like I am from a physical medicine and rehabilitation. When I did my PG,
Staff की भी जरूरत है. इसके लिए जो sincere staff, sincere doctors.
हाँ, actually मैं
देखने में आते हैं. I'm sorry to say this because I've gone through such phases in my life. I have treated 5 patients who have suffered from stroke.
नहीं, मैं आपको भी बता.
We have been able to
एक मिनट डॉक्टर चौधरी, I'll tell. In Janakpuri super specialty, where I was the director, we got a robotic hand from Italy. One hand, robotic hand, cost around 63 lakhs. These walking devices, bar to in our all physiotherapy department are there. But now what Dr. Saab is saying, robotic assisted, it's happening, and soon there are now Indian companies which are making robotic walkers and trainers.
या एंड जैसे फिजियोथेरेपी की अभी एक और अप्रोच है कि जैसे आई एम अ टोटली रिहैबिलिटेशन फिजिशियन, सो देर आर मेनी हॉस्पिटल्स, एम्स एंड गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल, द रिहैबिलिटेशन डिपार्टमेंट इंडिपेंडेंट इज कमिंग अप. So we are, yeah, along with me, I have 4 doctors who are specialized in PMR. They are a team of therapists, physio, occupational, social worker, community-based rehabilitation worker. All are coming up, and future we see is bright, right? Okay. Now the therapeutic exercise, the journal which are seen are the strength and resistance training exercises, balance training and cardiovascular training I've already told. Orthosis. So this is the conventional orthosis. These are the AFO which you have seen many times. ये तो दिख जाता है कहीं. And these are the orthosis are basically to support the limb to helps in walking. And the other thing which is interesting is the functional electrical stimulation based orthosis. इसमें automatically you get the stimulation in the muscles so that whenever the person is walking, his foot moves in a way so that the clearance is better in the ground, because we know that in the stroke the arms and the foot are affected the most. So you can say the patient walks with अपने टांग को बाहर ले जाके चलते हैं. So these are some walking aids which helps in movement. These are some self-help devices. ये grab bars you may have seen at various places, and this will be important to install in their home also whenever the person suffer from stroke. Sometimes the wheelchair may be required if the patient do not have any recovery and can use the motorized wheelchair, or the single arm driven wheelchair can be used. So now let's talk about the upper limb. So if there is some motor power, we can give the functional tasks based practice, CIMT, VR. And if the motor power is less than 2, we can use mental practice, mirror therapy, NMES, robotics. ये थोड़े से these are the functional training that you are asking the patient to do the activity of taking on the clothes, the lowers. Now for the games that can be used, it has to be meaningful. It should be interesting to the patient, and the game should provide a feedback. It cannot be too hard. Patient frustrated हो जाता है, and if the task is too boring, it is not interesting. So these are the virtual reality and gaming. These are also high-end system, and it's available in many of the centers. VR तो है, robotics नहीं है, लेकिन VR है. So this is constraint induced movement therapy. In this we ask the patient to restrain using the normal hand and encourage him to do the activity with the affected arm. Mental practice. This is very interesting. In this, basically it's used for the functions when the power is less than 2. तो हम patient को कई बार, ये मैंने खुद किया है इसलिए मैं बता रही हूँ, कि हमने patient को guided audios दिए थे. तो उसमें हमने not in stroke but in Parkinson's, हमने patient को guided audio दिए थे. Then we had asked them to listen to that guided audios and try enacting these things in mind, and there is evidence that it helps. Mirror therapy is a very simple and economical therapy which can be used to improve the other limb function. दो हाथों के बीच में we keep the mirror, and we'll ask the patient to do activity with the normal hand, and he thinks that he is doing with the opposite arms, and that helps in the recovery. Again, this is functional electrical stimulation. You provide the stimulus to do some activities. These are some self-help devices for upper limb. जो अगर जैसे build up है, thick build up is given so that patient with limited function will be able to hold it and can take the food. These are some keychain के लिए build up है. These are zipper assister. These are long-handed comb. This is long-handed shard brush. These are all available in India. And prevention and important aspect of rehab is prevention and medical management of the comorbidities. There are a lot of condition like skin breakdown, DVT, so many listed here and so many not listed. These all affect the patient's outcome in terms of rehabilitation. So patient can present with a pressure injury. So you have to prevent the pressure injury. Prevention, always remember, prevention is better than cure. So many times contracture is one of the very dreading and possible complication of the stroke. So to prevent it, we have to do the right positioning. We have to do stretching and splint. This has to be done early in the phase of rehabilitation. When as soon as we get the referral and the patient is about to have some kind of recovery, we start the providing splint to the patient. This is the position which is encouraged. Initial stages. If there is no boards, we ask the patient to put the pillow so that his feet are kept straight. This is the tilt table. We do the gradual tilting so that the patient's feet are straight. This is the wrist hand orthosis. The hands are kept in the functional position. This is again static AFO for the positioning of the lower limb. And if the contracture occur, then we have to treat it. So there are various methods. First is serial casting. Serial casting this is the first cast, then you apply the wedge and then you gradually increase the degree so that the limb are straight. These are the adjustable splints. Yahan pe you can increase the degree of and do the correction. Then if not, then you have to do the surgery. But not every patient needs surgery. You have to assess the potential that what is going to be the benefit with the surgical correction. DVT, okay. Then bowel and bladder incontinence. It is important to manage bladder bowel because it can cause skin breakdown, cause social stigma and the burden of care. Normally, the Foley's is removed within 24 hours, and at the discharge, in our department, if the patient is admitted, we do the normal clinical evaluation, and if it requires, we do the ultrasound evaluation. And if the patient need CSIC, that is, patient is not able to void the urine, then we may have to give CSIC. It is mostly in spinal cord injury. Usually, the stroke patients recover. And we also provide the pelvic muscle floor strengthening. So hemiplegic shoulder pain is one of the very important cause of shoulder pain and as a cause of extreme discomfort to the patient. It may happen because there is a tightness of muscle around the shoulder, and it may ultimately lead to development of periarthritis, CRPS. There are a lot of things. There are numerous DDs, so you have to clinically evaluate, diagnose, and then manage. So in the initial stage, you have to be extremely careful in maintaining the position of the limb. Maintain the range of motion and start the motor training. You don't have to give the overactive activities because muscles weak hote hain, there are chances of subluxation also. So treatment required, neuromodulating pain medications. There are a lot of medications. If required, we may have to give the injections, steroids injections, and intractable pain not relieving with anything. At our center, we have given suprascapular block also. Patient may suffer from stroke, post-stroke depression, so you have to involve the psychiatrist and provide the clinical counseling, social support, and the antidepressant. Osteoporosis, it has been found to be in more than 10%. More than 10% decrease in 1 year in paratic limb. The thing is that you have to start with the therapy. You have to ask the patient to do weight-bearing exercise and walk, so that will decrease the incidence of osteoporosis in that limb. Secondary prevention is control the BP, cholesterol, sugar, what all sir has already told you. And return to work, return back to the community, return to home. It's very important. So, having to decide about what a person can do, sometimes they can go back to their work. Sometimes you have to assess what work that can be done, and the modification have to be done at that level. Here we don't bother so much about driving, but in West it's important that the person is able to learn driving. So you have to do the assessment of driving as well. So transition to home and the community and community-based rehabilitation. An individually tailored discharge plan with potential to utilize multiple method of communication and support has to be provided. Caregiver involvement is very important. You have to start involving caregiver in all the decision making and from the very beginning to address education, training, counseling, assessment, development of supportive structure, finalizing assistance and guidance. You have to educate them about the disability related benefits also. Some patients may recover, some may not recover. They may need to get a certification to get benefits in the work also and in the community also. So all patients should be considered for community or home-based rehabilitation. Caregivers should be trained in supporting and implementing the program. Promote engagement in leisure and recreational pursuit. This is also important. You have to bring them back to the life, back to the society. So to summarize, in the earlier phase, medical management is important. Start with the early mobilization, early positioning, the milestone achievement criteria, maintain the stable vitals, medically fit for mobilization and therapy. After 1 to 7 days, you start with the early mobilization, continue with the early mobilization, bed chair transfer, initiation of speech, cognition, vision therapy, bowel bladder assessment. The milestone achievement is patients tolerate structured therapy session and plan an individualized rehabilitation protocol. In the early and subacute phase, these I've already said these are very important in assisting the patient for a functional recovery. And in the chronic phase, you have to continue doing whatever has been taught during the subacute phase, and some community-based rehabilitation is very important during this phase. So to conclude, one thing I've left, sir, is mentioned about tele-rehab. Sir, I have not covered that, but tele-rehab is also picking up. It's one of the important important way to manage the patients, in which there are so many apps and the video conferencing ke through we can connect with a patient. The patient can be asked to tell us whatever their problem areas, what is their improvement. Then in West, not in our country, but in outside India, the patient are provided with the wearable devices also. So their improvement can be measured, remotely measured, and then they can be advised accordingly. Maybe future we can also have, because there's a lot of work going into the assistive technology. So you have to conclude, we have to assess the patient, you have to identify the problem area, you have to prioritize your goal, what is important, what is most important, what can be done later, and you have to start the therapy to initiate recovery. And if you have to also encourage for a compensatory strategies also, you have to make a balance between the recovery and the compensatory strategy and prevent complication for a reasonable good rehabilitation. Difference
I
between
know.
cerebral palsy and
I
stroke.
could judge he has spastic.
So
gait
quadri,
and
spastic quadriplegia.
Spastic speech. Yeah, that I could recognize even without you speak. Sir, cerebral palsy is usually since childhood. When there is a birth, there is some oxygen lack to the brain, and if there is a brain hypoxia called or less of oxygen, it leads to cerebral palsy. Now, cerebral palsy may be whole body, maybe one side of body, right? और आपको जो अभी हो रहा है इसको हम कहते हैं dystonia. So stroke is one which comes later. कई बार बच्चों को भी stroke हो जाता है because of oxygen lack, but usually it happens in later age में होता है और adults में हो सकता है. जो आपको dystonia और ये हो रहा है, since I don't know, आपकी legs भी थोड़ी wasted हैं, टाइम के साथ वेस्ट हो गई हैं, तो उस सिचुएशन में अगर बहुत स्टिफ है और वो है, तो डॉक्टर साहब ने भी बताया, हम भी बोटॉक्स रेगुलरली लगा रहे हैं, बट स्टिल इट मे हेल्प दैट डिस्टोनिया इन पर्टिकुलर. वीकनेस में होता है कि आप हाथ पाँव नहीं हिला सकते, आपके हाथ ऐसे जा रहे हैं. डिस्टोनिया मीन्स एबनॉर्मल पोस्चरिंग हो गई है जी. The earlier it is taken, better it is, but still you may have some good effects.
I have a question कि stroke के केस में कई बार the symptoms are so severe तो patients panic करने लग जाते हैं. I wanted to know कि किसी को अगर symptoms आ रहे हो तो उसके address करने के लिए is there any immediate first aid or something we can administer at home till the time a patient is taken to a hospital so that the symptoms or the chances of recovery become
Like for hearts you have like sorbitrate, लोग जीभ के नीचे रख देते हैं, पर इसके लिए नहीं है ऐसा. स्ट्रोक जो फैमिली सोच रही है, हो सकता है स्ट्रोक हो ना हो, इमीडिएटली इमरजेंसी जो भी नियर बाई हॉस्पिटल हो रश करना चाहिए. इवन MBBS लेवल और MD लेवल डॉक्टर विल बी इन ए पोजीशन टू रिकग्नाइज एंड देन सेंड टू ए बिगर सेंटर. इन दैट केस जो मैंने कहा, जब सिवियरिटी जो हम करते हैं स्कोर, एक इसमें क्वेश्चन भी है कि डिसेबिलिटी स्कोर कैसे करते हैं. एक NIHSS स्कोर होता है, एक मॉडिफाइड रैंकिन स्कोर होता है, उससे करते हैं असेस. तो इस केस में क्लॉट बस्टर जो है, अगर इस्कीमिक स्ट्रोक है और विद इन पेशेंट आ जाता है और अर्ली है, MR इमेज में दो तरह के होते हैं, एक में कि नज़र आ रहा है, दूसरे में नज़र नहीं आ रहा. दैट्स द बेस्ट टाइम टू इंटरवीन एंड वी शुड गिव दैट क्लॉट बस्टर at the earliest and then find out the risk factor, treat those risk factors.
so there is no immediate first aid.
A first aid is, the most important first aid is rush to the hospital.
My heartiest thanks to our experts for sharing time for from their hectic schedule. Dr. Manmohan, sir, for your enlightening lecture has broadened our understanding of this critical health issue specific to stroke. Your decades of expertise combined with clarity and depth of your session have truly enriched this workshop. I also expressed our sincere appreciation to Dr. Shipra ma'am for her comprehensive and insightful talk on post-stroke care and rehabilitation strategies. Ma'am, your enriched talk on holistic recovery and rehabilitation has provided invaluable awareness, knowledge, and guidance to all of us. A special thanks to Dr. Naresh Kumar for his constant support in planning and successful execution of this program. I'm equally grateful to all the organizing committee members, Dr. Arvind Meena, Dr. N.K. Sahu, Dr. Anil Kumar, Shri Alok Kumar ji, Shri B.L. Meena for their involvement and cooperation. I sincerely thank to our Director Office, Finance and Accounts, Administration Division, PPD Division for making this event a successful event. I further thank my team members to ensure this event runs smoothly. Finally, a warm thank you to all who has joined us today. I hope this workshop has increased your awareness and knowledge about stroke. Once again, thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.